The dark side of Coventry, England. Coventry, a historic city in the West Midlands, is often celebrated for its cultural resilience, medieval roots, and post-war revival. From its rebuilt cathedral to its role in the car manufacturing boom, Coventry has played an important part in Britain's modern history. But beyond the stories of innovation and regeneration lies a more sobering reality. The dark side of Coventry, England, paints a picture of a city grappling with deep-seated issues, ranging from crime and poverty to mental health and underfunded infrastructure. In this video, we take a hard look at the problems affecting day-to-day life for many residents in this troubled urban centre. 1. High crime rates in certain areas. Crime in Coventry is a pressing issue that consistently dominates local news and community forums. Official crime statistics regularly place Coventry above the national average in categories such as violent crime, theft, antisocial behaviour, and drug-related offences. Certain neighbourhoods, particularly Hillfields, Foleshill, and parts of Radford, are known hotspots for youth crime, gang activity, and stabbings. Knife crime, in particular, has become a growing concern, especially among younger populations. West Midlands Police have introduced community outreach and knife surrender campaigns, but many residents still feel unsafe walking alone at night. CCTV coverage has improved, but its presence is often not enough to deter repeat offenders. Shoplifting and vandalism are also common in struggling commercial zones. Local businesses have called for more visible police patrols and better enforcement strategies. For families considering a move to Coventry, personal safety remains a significant consideration. Despite community-led initiatives and investment in youth diversion programs, the underlying causes, such as poverty and limited educational opportunities, remain largely unaddressed. Tackling crime in Coventry requires a broader, multi-pronged approach, including better housing, social services, and meaningful employment opportunities for youth. 2. Urban decline and rundown areas. Like many former industrial cities in the UK, Coventry has experienced urban decline. The centre has seen significant redevelopment, but many outlying districts tell a different story. Areas like Bell Green, Wood End, and Willenhall still feature boarded-up shops, crumbling pavements, and deteriorating housing estates. One of the most visible signs of neglect is the state of public amenities. Broken streetlights, overflowing bins, and graffiti remain unaddressed for weeks or even months. Residents often report feeling like their communities are being left behind, while the city centre receives the bulk of the investment. Local authorities have launched regeneration plans and levelling up bids, but progress is slow and uneven. Many working-class neighbourhoods continue to struggle with poor access to parks, youth centres, and healthcare clinics, basic infrastructure that supports quality of life. Urban decay isn't just an aesthetic issue, it erodes community morale. When people feel their environment is crumbling around them, it contributes to a cycle of disengagement and distrust. Urban decline in the UK is not unique to Coventry, but the depth of disparity within its borders makes the contrast particularly stark. 3. Traffic congestion and poor road infrastructure. Coventry's infamous Ring Road is both a landmark and a daily source of frustration. Built in the 1960s to ease urban traffic flow, it now struggles to handle modern congestion. Frequent accidents, roadworks, and confusing junctions make driving stressful, even for lifelong locals. The A444 and other key arteries are also prone to bottlenecks, especially during peak hours. Commuters complain of delays that add significant time to what should be short journeys. Public transport, meanwhile, has not kept pace with demand. Although bus services exist, they are often delayed, rerouted, or overcrowded. Many outer areas lack direct links to the city centre, forcing residents to rely on private vehicles, contributing to both traffic and air pollution. Calls for expanded light rail or more frequent buses have been raised for years, but tangible improvements have been limited. The city's cycling infrastructure is also underdeveloped. In contrast to neighbouring Birmingham, which has expanded its cycling lanes, Coventry remains car-centric, despite its green city ambitions. Until substantial upgrades are made to both roadways and public transport, Coventry's transport woes will remain a daily irritant for workers, students and families alike. 4. Air pollution and industrial legacy. As a former powerhouse of British manufacturing, Coventry bears the scars of its industrial past. Today, that legacy lingers in the form of air pollution, derelict factories, and pockets of brownfield land that remain undeveloped. Coventry housing and infrastructure still bear the imprint of old zoning patterns that put heavy industry next to residential streets. Air quality in Coventry has been flagged by environmental groups and health experts. In congested areas like Spon End and along the A444, pollution levels often exceed WHO guidelines, especially during rush hours. The impact is particularly severe for children, the elderly, and those with pre-existing respiratory conditions. The city has made some progress. Electric buses, cycling initiatives, and clean air zones have been introduced, but critics argue that these measures are not ambitious or widespread enough to counter decades of damage. Many families are unaware that their proximity to major roads and former industrial sites could be affecting their long-term health. More public education, alongside faster environmental remediation efforts, is needed to make Coventry truly livable. 5. Limited cultural and nightlife options outside the centre. Coventry's cultural scene has seen recent investment, particularly during its stint as the UK City of Culture in 2021. However, outside the city centre, options remain limited. Many young people complain that they must travel to Birmingham or even Leicester for vibrant nightlife, galleries, and live music. Coventry nightlife problems are frequently raised in online reviews and resident forums. While some areas, like Fargo Village, are developing creative communities, these remain niche and often inaccessible to residents living in more deprived suburbs. The lack of cultural infrastructure is particularly demoralising for students and young creatives. Community centres that once served as hubs for local talent have closed due to funding cuts. Events are irregular and often poorly publicised. As a result, many talented individuals leave Coventry for cities where artistic and career opportunities are more abundant. Cultural and recreational neglect contributes not only to economic stagnation, but also to mental health challenges and social isolation. Creating inclusive, diverse cultural hubs outside the centre could dramatically improve community engagement and well-being. 6. Economic inequality and job insecurity. Coventry's economy has undergone a major shift. Once dependent on car manufacturing and heavy industry, it has now transitioned to service-based roles, many of which are low-paid and insecure. Economic inequality in Coventry is now a growing problem. While areas near the universities and business parks benefit from new jobs in tech, research, and finance, many neighbourhoods continue to experience high unemployment and underemployment. The rise of zero-hour contracts and gig economy work has further eroded job security. The economic gap between students and long-term residents is especially visible. Cafes, bars and rental prices cater more to the student population, leaving locals feeling priced out of their own city. Job training programs and apprenticeships exist, but they often don't reach the people who need them most. Residents without advanced qualifications or digital literacy are at a particular disadvantage in this new economy. Bridging this divide requires more than tech investment. It requires inclusive policies that lift the entire city, not just a privileged few. 7. Issues in education and youth services. Education in Coventry is deeply uneven. While some schools perform well, especially in more affluent areas, others consistently underperform. In districts with high poverty rates, educational outcomes are poor, and dropout rates are high. This gap feeds directly into cycles of crime and underachievement. Youth services have been slashed in recent years due to budget constraints. Community centres, sports programmes, and outreach initiatives have either closed or scaled back dramatically. With fewer safe spaces and supportive mentors, young people are more likely to fall into negative patterns. Teachers report burnout, low morale, and large classroom sizes. Parents in underperforming areas often feel powerless to demand change, especially when school funding is determined by postcode. Investing in education and youth engagement isn't just a moral imperative, it's a practical one. Without it, the city will continue to lose its young talent to larger, more opportunity-rich regions. 8. Mental health and social isolation. Coventry is facing a growing mental health crisis. After the COVID-19 pandemic, rates of anxiety, depression, and loneliness have risen sharply, especially among the elderly and under 30s. NHS mental health services are stretched thin. Wait times for therapy can stretch up to 6 months or more. For those in crisis, immediate support is often unavailable. Many people turn to charity services or go without help altogether. Mental health in Coventry is a concern raised by health professionals and residents alike. The city also suffers from social fragmentation. Community events are rare and isolation is widespread. Older residents, in particular, report feeling cut off from social life, especially in suburban or rural pockets of Coventry. For younger people, the combination of job insecurity, housing struggles, and lack of creative outlets exacerbates mental health problems. A comprehensive plan, one that combines healthcare funding with grassroots community building, is urgently needed. The dark side of Coventry, England, reveals a city at a crossroads. While pockets of progress exist, inequality, crime, and underinvestment continue to hold it back. Addressing these issues requires bold leadership and community engagement. Only then can Coventry truly live up to its potential as a city for all. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.